Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Taz, and of course, this is the intro podcast. I am doing a recording live, which, if you know me, you know I do not do this. But it's been a while since I've been able to actually do a live recording just due to life, put it like that. Life has been life in me. So since life has been life in me, I'm excited that I'm able to come and I'm giving you guys a peek. Look, so in the tradition of what we do, I am excited to have you guys. We're going to be listening to this on the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or even YouTube. Thank you guys for listening and being a part of who I am and what I do here on the intro podcast. If you listen to the segment before, I'll say it again on this particular segment. Everyone has been asking me questions about the revolving door of what's been going on with the co-host or the intro podcast. Let me be the first to say this. I said it before on, like I say, the previous segment. People have times and seasons in which they are allotted to be a part of our lives. And for anyone who has been a part of the intro podcast as a co-host or a guest host or whatever the situation is, I am excited to have had you guys to be on the show. I don't know whether you guys come back or not. It's up to you all, but just to name a few, I appreciate, and I want to do this now, and I've probably never ever done this in this matter before, as opposed to saying names or whatever. But let me start at the top, because whenever I started the podcast and it was like, oh my God, this is gonna work. I appreciate Kelly Lewis for being a part. She was like the very first co-host on the podcast, and as a spinoff to the intro podcast, she also had her own podcast called That's It. I can't say it like she did, but she does that. Also, if you guys follow her on social media, you would know that recently, within the last week or so, she's been on one of the most grandest stages that I would love to be on. She is one of the original members of God's Property, and Kurt Franklin has, of course, been on tour with the reunion tour, and he ended in Fort Worth, Texas, and she was able to grace the stage for that tour with God's Property to sing. So congratulations, Kelly, for that. I will always tell people, if they need a soprano for a song and they don't want a choir, they just need to call you, because you are that girl. So we definitely appreciate you, Kelly, for being a part of the intro podcast and the time that you spent with us. Also, I appreciate Chef Stephanie for the time that she was on the podcast. Also, this is the end of the year, so I want to let just get this stuff out the way now. Appreciate Chef Stephanie. The purple potatoes that she cooked for us is going to go down in history. But she's a dope chef. She cooks really good food. You guys should look her up. I'm gonna see if I can find her and tag her in this video for future references. Also, I do have the chat open if you guys should happen to look at this while I'm recording, so I can chat with you. I'm looking to see if anyone's chatting to chat with you guys about everything that's going on today's show. So Chef Stephanie, thank you for being a part of the intro podcast. I appreciate my younger brother Trevor. He had about 2 or 3 shows. He wanted to learn the podcasting world, brought him in or whatever, and in lieu of situations, he found other ways to do what he wanted to do. But for the 2 or 3 shows that he done, I appreciate you for that. Gotta do this. Big thanks to J.R. Full Love. I think he was the longest lasting co-host to the podcast. I appreciate you, JR. Appreciate you, bro, for believing in the vision for as long as you did. I understand that we have our own destinies and our own way of getting there. So it is what it is, right? Much love, no love lost. I wish you the best in everything with Exquisite and with the Lionheart collection. Yeah, appreciate you guys. But let's get into it. So if you guys know, it's been a minute since I've been able to actually do a show due to the fact that life happens. And I'll say this. Looking at the camera, I'll say this. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I took the hit to where people left the show, I was like, what's going on? Why are people not staying? And then God reminded me, he was like, I allow people in your life for a reason and for a season. And after that season is up, you just have to know how to bounce back. And for a minute, I couldn't bounce back. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was hard for me to bounce back because I was like, what's going on? In lieu of all of that, I'm excited because I'm able to now say that I'm bouncing back and I'm able to do these shows, and I'm excited. I've made some investments in some equipment. We have our new location I spoke about on the previous segment. So let's get into it. Today's show is based on things that I wish whenever it was prevalent, I would have been able to talk about, but I wasn't able to talk about because I just couldn't talk about it. But I will talk about it now. Just a couple of quick topics and we'll go from there. I want to talk about first, there was this situation going on social media. Talk about Jay-Z, where there was a challenge going on, $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z. And I saw idiots actually picking the $500,000 rather than the dinner. And even Jay-Z said, take the money. I'm sorry, Jay-Z. I absolutely disagree with you. Yes, I said it. I disagree with you, Jay-Z. I want to sit down and talk with you. I know on some of the interviews that you've done that were asking you about this challenge, you said in your own words, if you want the information, buy the music or listen to the music. No, I don't want to do that. I need to sit down and actually be in the presence of greatness. Yes, I said it. I want to be in the presence of greatness. I need to feel the words that you say. I need to look into your eyes whenever you talk to me. I will say this. I believe that a lot of people who actually chose the money, these are people who want that popcorn, that microwave miracle, that microwave glow up, because they don't want to wait. It's easy to have money to where you can just invest in something and whatever you get at the time you get. You're just comfortable because you have $500,000, especially if it's $500,000 that you've never had in your life before in the first place. You're not concerned about the other part of the business. You're not concerned about how to be stable in it. See, I would want to sit down and talk to Jay-Z rather than just get the money, because if I sit down and talk to you, you not only can tell me how to get the money, but you can tell me how to keep that $500,000. Because if you just put $500,000 in my hand and I don't have direction, if we don't have direction for what is presented to us, yes, we can have it, we can obtain it, but the art of keeping it is the issue. Let me say it again. We can obtain it. We can get the money in our hands. Yes, Jay-Z can give me $500,000 or somebody can give me $500,000 because I chose that rather than sitting down with Jay-Z. But after I get that money and I blow it, it's gone, because all you didn't teach me how to fish. You just gave me the fish. So after I eat the fish, I'm still hungry. After you've given me the $500,000 and I've already spent it and I've invested it in ways that it didn't repay, or I done stupid stuff with it because I had never had that kind of money before. So I thought about everything I ever wanted, and that's what I've done with the money. Now I'm stuck like, what am I supposed to do now? I would much rather sit down. I don't care how long the dinner, lunch, or breakfast was. I would rather sit down and let you tell me, Jay-Z, how you got it and how you have managed to keep it for all these years. Whether it's the Jay-Z now or the Jay-Z back then, how did you acquire this? What were your investments? What was your business mind? What was your discipline in music to stay at the level, or not even to stay at the level that you are, but to go up from where you started to where you are now, to where whenever people hear you or your name is mentioned in music, you're the GOAT. You're one of the greatest. So I want to understand, what did you do to get there? What investments did you make financially to where your money is making money for you? In music, what's your writing strategy? What's your recording strategy? Where do you get your inspiration from? How do you pick the people you collab with, whether it be people rapping on or singing or your producers? I want to know how you get all of that, because if I can learn that, I can make more than $500,000. Let me say this. If I can get the art of how you did it, and I can get that down, not only can I get the $500,000 that the people taking, but I can get that and more and be able to flip that to get more. But people, that's the that's the lesson that people don't get. People want the microwave instead of the oven. Microwave, you know how long it's gonna take. You know, if you put it on 5 minutes, because the instructions said 5 minutes, it's gonna be done in 5 minutes. But the oven, sometimes it takes a little longer, but the ending result of it is so much better. So for me, I don't want the money. I want to sit down with you, Jay-Z. Let's talk about Tyrese's ex. There was a story where she basically said that if she would not have had the people in her ear at the time that she was going through the divorce, she probably wouldn't have gone through it. Of course, this is something, of course, these topics that I'm talking about are old, but these are topics that I was not able to talk about because at the time I was not able to do a recording. So I want to get all this stuff out of me so that going forth, I'll be ready to go. Who are you listening to in your life who's affecting or causing you to make decisions, probably not even based on the decisions that you want to make, but based on the feelings that they're giving you? Teresa's ex basically said, if I didn't have all of the heifers in my ear telling me what I should do, I probably wouldn't have done what I did. In life, we take influence from people where, I'm not even going to say we, I'll say me. I used to take influence from people because of who I thought they were or what they meant to me. And in many situations, I found out that they didn't even have my best interest at heart. What they were saying was not built on who I was or who I was supposed to be. It was built on because where they were and where they wanted to be, but where they were not. Can you imagine the people who was in her ear telling her, girl, leave him. Your situation ain't gonna change. Leave him because he and XYZ and 1, 2, 3. Imagine all the bad advice that she got, but because people knew or felt like they knew what she was in that relationship, they were able to influence her to make a decision based off a temporary feeling that now she has to deal with for the rest of her life. What if she actually really, really wanted to make it work? If she really, really loved this man, but because of the people who were in her ear, it's like the story of having one good angel, one bad angel on each side of you, and you have to depict what side you want to listen to. And she just decided, I'm going to listen to my homegirls and my homeboys that's telling me to leave because XYZ. what voice is louder to you? Because if you can't separate the two, you can be deceived. And clearly, after everything was over and everything was finalized, she was able to step back into herself and be like, oh my God, what if I made this decision? And well, since I've made this decision, I realize now this is not the decision I really wanted to make. What if I really did love Tyrese and I really wanted to make it work? But now it's too late because I let everybody else tell me what I should do and why I should do it and whatever. But see, it also goes to the point to where we have to be careful whenever we're going through things in relationships with people, who we share information to or what information we share, because sometimes we'll be in a situation to where we red hot mad at our partner, our husband, our wife, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our boo, or whatever, and we'll share information that will cause them to gain a view of that person that's not necessarily a neutral view, but it's more in our favor because they care about us. So then anything that comes out of their mouth regarding that relationship, because we've shared so much negative information, becomes the toxicity that says leave, 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 because I care about you and all you're telling me is bad about this other person. That was one of the hardest things I had to learn, because I had to sit back and I looked at a lot of things that I've said, a lot of things that I've done and talking to people, and I had to realize in some cases, a lot of things didn't work out for me because I talked negative about the situation to people, but whenever I wanted them to talk me into staying, they did the total opposite. It wasn't about staying because they cared enough about me to want me to leave. But in the course of the bad issues that was going on, I needed somebody that I can vent to. And the venting wasn't necessarily positive. Well, of course, it wasn't positive because I'm venting about a bad situation, but the venting didn't end in a neutral situation because the people that I was talking to, they really only cared about me and not the other person. So their advice was leave, 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 not because they're necessarily bad people, but because they're people who are on my side only. Imagine the people who she was probably getting advice from, who probably didn't really care too much for Tyrese. Because all she was saying, or all they heard, or all they saw was the negative. So whenever it came down to getting the advice, or what should I do, girl? Or it was like, leave. And she got so much of that she done it, because we can lose our identity in other people's perception of our situations if we're not secure. So, not saying she wasn't secure, but just in case if she wasn't, look what happens. But now it's too late to say you coulda, shoulda, wouldas, because he's with somebody else now, and you're single to mingle like a Pringle. So now you have to deal with what I would have said or what I would have done if I would have been in a different situation. It's not the best. It's also, it's a lesson learned. So learn the lesson, move on. Let's talk about Tyler Perry. He had a comment to make about women making more money. I'm not going to go really deep into how he said it, but I'll just say it in my own words. I believe that money in relationships, yes, it's a really big issue, because we have to have an understanding going into a relationship of what the financial balance is going to be, whether it's dating or marriage. We have to understand who does what, who makes what, who can bring what to the table. I absolutely agree with what Tyler Perry said regarding if you are a woman and you're making more money than the guy, but the guy is able to do XYZ. If you're comfortable with that, do that. Again, now that also goes back to what I said about taking advice from other people, because you can be comfortable with being in a relationship to where you're making more money than your other person, but your girlfriends or your guy friends are getting in your ear and will tell you, oh, he's just a leech and just trying to, he just wants you for your money, girl. He don't even love you. She don't even love you. They just want you for what you can give them, and you can allow that to filter in. That will make you lose the best relationship you've ever had. Now, I will say that some relationships that I've heard about that are based off of money have always ended in a bad situation, because whenever you primarily base your relationship on money or the financial part of the relationship, that would kill a relationship more than anything, because you can have a man who or a woman who probably don't make as much as you financially, but has everything else for them. Let me say it again. I may not make as much money as you, but I make up in every other situation. I care, I love, I have compassion. I'm everything else that you say you need in a relationship. I just don't make as much money as you do. Do you really want to base your future or your love based off of how much money I do make or how much money I don't make? How much money that person does or don't make in your life? Because I know married couples who don't sleep in the same bed, who have money for days, but are miserable. They're miserable because, yes, I can go out and I can shop and buy this, or that, or I can lease a new car, or I can get a house, or I can do this. But the thing that really matters, the person that actually sees me and not my pocketbook, the person that sees my heart, the person that know when I've dyed my hair a different color, or the person that sees my emotions switch to where they know what I need emotionally as a person and not as a dollar sign. I was taught that those are the things that relationships are supposed to be based off of, not the fact of you're good for me if you make this much money and I make this much money. Yes, money is a big situation. It's something that we all have to understand or grow with in a relationship, but it shouldn't be the main basis of your relationship. Again, you can have the person that's making $1 million a year, but all she's doing is making that money, but emotionally, they are never there for you. Like, you don't know when the last time they looked you in your eyes and said, I love you. The last time they've seen where you were down, or you were depressed, or you were hurting, or you needed attention. They weren't there for that, because they're more concerned about their job. So my question for you, the listener, is this: are you concerned more about the person who's concerned about the dollar bill, or the person who's more concerned about your heart? Because at the end of the day, we can wake up. One thing that the pandemic taught me or showed me is that at any given moment, all of this can be gone. And at the time that all of this is gone, we still have to base us off of something. If we're going to be together, we have to be based off of something other than the dollar bill, other than the bank account. Because there are a lot of relationships that didn't last because, number one, they were around each other all the time. So whenever you're around each other all the time, every single day, to where going to work and making that money didn't matter, you had to be used to the person's waking up, breathing in your face, talking, conversation, watching TV, listening to music, playing a game in the house. You had to be used to that person rather than the person who's bringing home a check. So whenever you are around a person who you've based your relationship on how much money I make and how much money you make, And whether it works or not, you only put yourself in a situation to where you only have that temporary happiness. Because eventually, either you yourself or people will get in your ear and be like, you know what? Girl, he just wants you for your money. Or gosh, she just wants you for your money. I do agree with Tyler whenever he said, don't base your relationship on money, because although I may not be able to provide as much money as you provide, I see your heart. I know so much more about you that a dollar sign couldn't even, it doesn't even matter. I see your ups, I see your downs, I see when you're happy, I know when you're sad, I know when you're hungry, I know when you're sleepy, I know when you need to cry, I know when you need to vent. I know all of this. See, that's where I find security myself. I find security knowing that whenever I need somebody to see me on the other side of things, on the other side of the financials, the other side of the travels, the other side of the gifts, that's what mattered to me. That's what I care about, because it's no longer, it has nothing to do with the financial part. Because again, all this money can be gone in no time. Where is my mouse? I'm trying to get to my sponsor. And I'm looking up because I have like 2 screens going on right now. There we go. Let me get to this sponsor before we go. I appreciate everybody who is watching right now, those who are going to be listening. Today's show of the Intro Podcast is sponsored by Diane Clients. She is an independent associate with Legal Shield, offering legal services starting at $29.95 and identity theft starting at $19.95 a month. They provide a will, living will. They assist in moving violations, contract reviews, and consultations. For more information, contact Diane Clients at 214-881-5225 or go to dsclients.ladiesofjustice.com for more information. Yeah. So that being said, I just wanted to come to you guys. I needed to get all of this out of me so that we can move forward with what we have going on. And let me tell you guys this. I got a confirmation. I reached out to someone who I've been listening to all my life in music. And I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I would love to have you on my platform. And he said yes. So in the near future, I have a really dope show, a really dope interview, a guest that's coming to the Intro Podcast, and I can't wait to present him to you guys. Do me a favor, wherever you are listening to this show, share the link on your social media, emails, text messages, or whatever. Subscribe wherever you're listening, even on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Audible, wherever you're listening, so that you can get updates on all the future shows that we have. This is your boy Taz, and I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for listening. Yeah, that part. So I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.